Hey, Apostles family, we want to begin something new. We want to begin a sort of a book of the month suggestion. And instead of just suggesting one book, we want to suggest 2 books a month, mainly to sort of aid and help us as a community for whatever season that we're in. What are good resources to help us as a community? So maybe you pick up one of the books we suggest, or maybe you pick up 2, both of them that we suggest. And this month, we want to suggest one, Jemar Tisby's book, The Color of Compromise. Jemar Tisby is a historian, and he writes a book that unpacks how the church, primarily oftentimes the white church, how it hasn't always been a safe place for Black brothers and sisters to flourish through the Civil War, through Jim Crow. And it's a helpful book to maybe unpack what we were really talking about in John 4, where racism isn't always something that comes from an intellectual conclusion, but really comes from a social imagination, something that we inherit from our family systems, from our culture, on how to behave with one another, how to think about one another, how to love one another. So I think that will be really helpful in this season to unpack that dynamic as a church community. But the second book I want to suggest, because we're also in a season where we're thinking about intimacy with Jesus, the second book is by Eugene Peterson, and it's called Answering God. Now, maybe some of you have heard me suggest this book. Maybe you have actually borrowed my own copy, because my copy seems to have notes from other people in the margins. But it's a book on how to pray, primarily learning from the Psalms. How do the Psalms teach us to pray? It's a great book. It's a simple book. If I had one book to own on prayer, it would be that book. I love that book. It's one of my favorites. So Eugene Peterson, Answering God. It's a book on the Psalms, and Jemar Tisby, The Color of Compromise. I think those would be 2 great books for us this season. So pick up one, pick up both, maybe read them with a friend or your community group if you'd like. And I think this will be a huge benefit to our community this season. All right, friends, I'll see you on Sunday.